In our last episode, we had talked about sort of like catfishing, our experience on internet dating, or I had told a story about a phone call date I had been to. My question to you, Lucy, is have you ever been catfished?
You know, I actually went on a coffee date a few years back, and the guy told me, well, I messaged you on Plenty of Fish, and you never replied. I was like, well, I'm not on Plenty of Fish.
Damn.
I've never been on it. And he's like, well, the picture that you have on here is the same picture you had there. I was like, but you're not listening to me. I have not signed up for Plenty of Fish. I'm not on there, and whoever is using my picture.
Damn.
So yeah, that was probably the only experience I had. I went on 2 dates with one guy, but I just wasn't ready for this. That whole it wasn't for me. I need to meet people in person and, you know, see how
the old school way.
I like the old school way.
See how they act.
Yeah, like, do you smell that? I don't know, like, you know, all that. I like the old school.
So, with that being said, old school, you prefer the guy to come to you, or have you ever actually approached the guy?
You know, okay, so this comes back to, like, I don't want to offend any very independent women.
Right.
I've always been very independent and everything, but what I learned was that me being the aggressor did not work for me for the type of relationship I wanted in the long run. So I am old school. I would approach a guy and didn't have a problem to, you know, ask him out or anything. But what I really wanted long term was the old school way where, okay, if it's gonna work, he has to show me that he wants to care for me and wants to take me out. So I had to kind of end up to where I had to forget my own way of thinking, and regardless if I'm independent or not, I have changed my mind on a women's approach to approaching men. I do not think women should approach men ever. I think that it is a man's. I don't want to misstep, but I'm going to say whatever. I think it's a man's place to court a woman. I think she needs to chill out and let him prove himself and what he wants. If a man does not pay attention to you, he does not want you.
Ladies,
okay?
Because I stress this. I always say the interest is in the effort. You're hearing this from Lucy.
And I messed up for many, many years because I was the aggressor, and I thought, oh no, it's okay if a woman goes. No. And this does not take away from you being a career woman, having your own business, having your own money. It has nothing to do with that. At the end of the day, a woman's role in relationships is a caretaker. We take care of the husband, the house, the children, regardless if you work. I work. I have my own business. And a man's place is to provide. He has to work. He has to be able to take care and pay for things in the house. Because as a man, that's what makes him feel like a man, is to say, hey, I can take care of you and protect you, even if you could protect yourself. I was in the Army. I know how to fight. I have a gun. I know how to protect myself. I know all that. I had to put that all aside because at the end of the day, I wanted a partner that loved me, that wanted to take care of me, that wanted to protect me and to provide. And I know that he feels more of a man when he can do that. And I allow him to do that because now I feel like I'm more feminine, that I could be more softer, and I don't have to be this tough, you know, girl. I'm still independent. I still work. I still do what I want to do, and my fiance provides for us. He takes care of us, and I give him his space to do that. A lot of girls, and I went through this myself for years. I made myself the aggressor, and I became the caretaker, and I was the one providing, and I was giving everything, and then I felt shorted, and I blamed him. Oh, you're not a man. You're not this. Well, I didn't let him be a man. I didn't allow him to do what he needed to do to feel that. And I think that's getting lost in all these fights where, women are independent. We could do anything any man can. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, just because I can protect myself doesn't mean I should. If we come to a place where I feel threatened, just because I can pull out my gun and kill the guy or girl, whatever, doesn't mean I should. You know? Sometimes you just gotta step back and just view what you want your life to be. You know, social media, it's more like anti-social media.
Yeah, people are losing the old ways of how to talk,
how to interact.
I've actually gone to bars where I like to people watch, and I'll watch people. You could tell they must have met on some sort of app or whatever, and you'll watch them just like there's no conversation. They were better off just emojiing and texting and gifing or whatever it's called. But I like literally, wow.
I tried to work in a bar for like 3 days. And the girl that was training me, she's like, yeah, that's the Tinder section. That's where all the guys and girls from Tinder come and they'll have a drink and then leave. And literally it was like that. It was like a hookup. And, you know, I hear a lot of people say, you know, blaming the opposite sex and the relationship didn't work because he was to this or she was to that. Well, did it ever occur to you the way you met? You know, what questions did you ask before you slept together?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a crazy world we live in.
Cause like me being Catholic, big Catholic, so you're not supposed to do the deed till you're married. That's what we've always said. But a lot of people, I understand that it doesn't happen these days. But a lot of people
got to test drive the car before you buy it.
But they let them test drive it without even getting their insurance paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you even have a driver's license and insurance? They're just letting them test drive. Damn, they wrecked. It's like, if that's all you're interested in a person, but you're wanting in a relationship, it's not going to work.
It's not meshing. Like people want what their parents or their grandparents had. You know, like my parents have been married, I think, 47, 48 years. You have to put in the work that they put in. You know, my parents, people used to meet and they used to go to their parents and say, hey, can I date your daughter? You know, that doesn't happen anymore. People will throw you a dick pic in your inbox and expect you to, you know, that's some cool thing. Why would I want it when you're just throwing it out there like that? You know, and it goes both ways. It's not just that guys do this. It goes both ways.
It's vice versa, yeah.
Yeah, you can't expect to have quality when everybody gets it.
Yep. That brings it to the question, like, we'll pop it up here. You got it right there, Felipe? Mm-hmm. So, there it is. And what my friend is meaning is, she like talks about a girls, which the meaning is a lot. She means a lot there. A lot of, like, girls posting a lot of selfies. You know what I'm saying? Like, girls out there acting like thoughts on social media and like the do's and don'ts in relationships. So I kind of said it too, like what you put out there is what you're gonna attract.
Well, it's like the power of attraction. If you believe that, you know, you are what you think, you know, you attract what you put out. And, you know, until I changed my behavior, you can only change yourself. You can't change anyone else. And if you believe in the power of attraction where you attract what you put out and you're constantly attracting trash, then maybe you need to look at yourself and see how trashy you are. But, you know, plain and simple. And if you are great, you'll attract great people. You may attract one or two here, but if you're in tune with yourself and what you want, and you respect yourself, you'll be able to weed those out. You'll be able to weed the trash out because it'll be so blatant to you. You'll see how clear, and it's like, you know, like the guy with the sports car, but his clothes are dirty because he can't afford to even do that. Like, because he's only paying for this expensive ass car to look a certain way. You know, so it's with the selfies and things like that, you know, we're not going to have anybody that we can vote for in the future because all we got to do is look at their Instagram account.
That's for sure.
You know, our president's wife is probably going to have her ass all over Instagram, right now.
But now, like the selfies, I don't knock it because sometimes you put on a cute outfit, you're feeling yourself. But like then there's an extent to where you're posting 3 or 4 a day.
There are different.
Yeah, boobs hanging out. Because guys, like you said, we can't really be too provocative in ourselves other than the penis pictures and to the inbox. But you get what I'm saying? Like, so I see a lot of girls, they post them pictures where they're wearing short shorts or something tight. And you know what I'm saying? It's like all of a sudden your inbox is blowing up. You're getting all these likes. But what are these guys really talking about? For me, when I look at that, it drives me off. I don't want a girl that's out there advertising it for everyone, like you're saying. If it's out there for everyone, why would I want it?
Exclusivity. That's what makes companies successful. Lululemon is exclusive. They can charge as much as they charge because they'll make a certain outfit in so many colors and so many sizes, and when they're done and they sell out, they don't make it again. So you feel like you have to have it because no one else will. It's the same thing in a relationship. I think for the most part, with the exception of the Kardashians, people want somebody that hasn't been with everyone.
Let's back there, because like we were talking about it earlier, and we'll bring there the do's and don'ts in a relationship. So this, I'm gonna get a woman's point of view on this, because like
I don't speak for all women,
yeah,
by the way.
Because sometimes, like you're saying, it's just a guy thing. But we're there at my house, and me and my friend, he got off work early. We're gonna get ready to go BP, and I get a picture. It's on Snapchat. I look, and it's a girl posing in some yoga pants. She has a nice bun, and she's like booty games. So, and I show it to my friend. He's probably about maybe 5 feet away, if that. I show him the phone. It's like this, like, hey, bro, look. And he squints. He can't see what it is. And when he notices what it is, he just smirks. So then I asked him, I said, hey, bro, what would you do if your wife was sending pictures like that to another guy? And like it went from the smirk to seeing, you know what I'm saying, the nice buns to, like his whole demeanor just changed. Like, you should. If I wish I could have filmed it, just the way his face, his whole attitude. And he got quiet for a second. He was like, I would roll up the phone book.
Well, I think, you have to have a certain level of respect and communication between each other. If there's no communication, between the couple, what she's doing, it could become just like that. In that instant, it could become something that can become violent, abusive. He might just walk away and leave her, whatever. But the communication has to be there. You don't know what the understanding that girl and her man have, that he might feel okay with her doing that.
Yeah.
Obviously, your friend would not be okay with his wife doing that. So everybody's going to have a different reaction, I think. For me, I know my fiance would probably throw me in a ditch somewhere. Yeah. But I know as myself, is one, that's not my character. And two, I don't think that's appropriate. So it's really about communication. I think there's a very huge lack of that nowadays between couples.
Yeah, cause
just like what you said, when people are meeting each other like on Tinder and stuff, they might as well just keep texting and not even have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, because that is sitting there, like, Felipe, what would you do if your girlfriend sent that to a guy? Or your fiance, wife?
That's grounds for divorce.
Yeah,
that's what you want to do? See you later.
Like, how would you feel if a girl was sending that to your fiance?
No. And luckily, we've had conversations about this because he knows, we met in the gym. So we talked about all this. He vetted me big time. Like, it was that same thing. It's like, how many questions do you ask someone before you become an item. You know, just as much as I was looking to have a husband to be with, he was looking for a wife.
Yeah.
And that to him would not be wife material. And that's where things, I think, that's where it has to come in. You have to communicate all these things before you get a situation like that. Because it can get very ugly.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I don't think my friend would actually put his hands on his wife, but just to kind of.
But the reaction
shit,
itself,
yeah,
you know, and
it
that's
was not thrilled with
yeah, it's not, but it's something that has to be discussed way before it happens.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that she felt comfortable doing that, in my own opinion, as a female, means that they've never talked about it. That means that she's like, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever I want because I've always done this. And they never addressed it. Like, he may never have mentioned, hey, I don't really like you taking pictures like this.
Yeah.
I don't
Sending
really
them
want
the guy.
you. Yeah, like, I don't really want you.
There, you send it to your homegirls, your workout partner.
Yeah, so it's really, I think, communication. Just what have you agreed on? What is disrespectful to you both? And that's a tough one, though, because with social media being such an open thing nowadays,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of little open gaps and spaces and things that could happen, and I think a lot of it, like what we said, is we have a huge disconnect in human communication, and because everybody they don't know how to speak anymore. If it's not on text, they don't want to speak. People don't speak.
So how would you feel though? Let's say, because another situation occurred. Like I've talked to a lot of females because I coach women's softball and then I coach co-ed, so I interact with them all the time. So one was telling me that she caught a friend of hers that's in a relationship sending selfies to a guy coworker of hers. So how would you feel if a guy your boyfriend was sending selfies to girls all day?
That's cheating. That's like cheating.
Felipe, if your girlfriend was sending a guy that selfies all day, not just one, at the gym, you know what I'm saying, but just different filters over and over constantly.
It really comes down to, communication, because it's one of those sit-downs all right, I don't know what your intentions were for this post or this picture, but let me hear this and convince me, otherwise the thoughts that are going through my head on why I think you sent that picture. And then they're gonna, it's like freaking people's court right going on.
Exhibit A.
And you never know, because you may be let's just say we're in a relationship and you send that picture to my homeboy. We may have to sit down and find out, are we having a communication problem?
Exactly.
Because maybe she's looking for attention and I'm not giving it to her. So she may have to be like, you know what? I'm sending them to your boys because you ain't looking at me. I get dressed. I do all this. Maybe somebody else, maybe one of your boys will look at me oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, I've been occupied. Now that I know this, because it took for that to happen, and that may be your intentions. She had to do that in order to get my attention.
But as a female, and let's say it was like that, and if I ever felt like I had to do that, then I would really have to look at myself and the relationship.
Right.
Why would I feel comfortable doing that? Why am I searching out, attention from someone outside of my relationship? So maybe that relationship shouldn't be at all, because if everything discussed prior to you becoming, a couple, you should have covered all this. What do you consider cheating? Is texting someone else cheating? Is emailing someone else cheating? If I send a picture, if I make out, if we sleep together, those are the things, because there's levels. There's some people that are totally okay with you flirting with everybody as long as you let them know. Or they're swingers or whatever. So you really have to, you have to communicate. You have to talk about what you have to define what your relationship is. For me and my fiance, when we decided we were together, or right before we made it official, neither one of us was talking to anyone else.
Yeah.
on the phone, on text, nothing. It was cut off. If someone texts me out of the blue now, hey babe, look, and I block them or I tell them, no, stop doing this. I'm in a relationship. Don't disrespect me and my relationship. And it should only happen one time. If someone continues that, to come at me or something like that, then it'll be like, hey babe, I know I could take care of it, but I'll be like, hey, this dude continues or whatever. But as a female, for me to be sending pictures to someone else, I know my fiance would consider that cheating because we talked about this.
Yeah.
He knows I would consider it cheating. So the break is in the communication when someone feels comfortable just doing that. Cause
there's guidelines on there because, like, my friend Maria, she's married. Like, me and her, we talk on Snapchat every day. We save our conversation, so if her husband ever wanted to, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of nonsense. You get what I'm saying? We're talking about softball, this,
but he's
this,
also
and that.
aware of it.
Yeah, he's also aware. He knows that she plays for me, and then he's been around both of us together, and like she's just cool people. She's from LA, and we just get along, kind of similar backgrounds in a way. So like I said, there's certain situations, but it's not like she's hiding it.
Right.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we don't send selfies back and forth. Like you might get
not
one
like
or two.
this.
Yeah, you might get one right now. Like me and you. Hey, like you get what I'm saying? It might be something where like the chicken that was running away at church. This church's chicken. I was going to mass. The chick. I'm gonna send you snaps of different stuff. Like if we're all here at the bar drinking, taking a shot. But it's like I said, there's certain things to where all of a sudden, even where it's back to me, where she's all of a sudden getting dolled up every day. Like, but we don't do that, and her husband trusts her, and like
Because
you're gonna have mutual friends together, and then friends of the opposite sex. So you go, it's like, but the intentions are like you just randomly meet some dude, and for 3 days now you're sending them selfies back and forth. It's like how do you even know that guy? Like Maria, I met her almost been a year. You know what I'm saying? We just hit it off. Like, but her husband knows. Like she plays there with us. Like, hey Joe too, if you watch this. But you know what I'm saying? It's nothing. They're like they'll be there together, chilling at the house and talking. Like you said, our conversations are there. It's a whole bunch of just back and forth about random nonsense, making fun of each other, other people that we like to roast and everything.